Hi guys, DAP is in panic mode Why do I say that DAP is in a panic mode? Because since its Sabah wipeout DAP has been on a declaration galore It has been declaring one grandiose declaration after another Now, the first grandiose declaration that DAP made was by its Secretary General Anthony Loke Basically, he said he will take full responsibility for the party's abysmal performance in the Sabah election Now, this is what he said. As the Secretary General of the party, I take full responsibility for the shortcoming and the failure of DAP to win any seats in the 17th Sabah state election. We will take heed of this result and conduct a thorough review of our shortcomings as well as work towards regaining the support of the rakyat in the upcoming elections. This is what Lok said in his Facebook But if anyone was imagining that this meant that Anthony Loke was drafting his resignation letter because he's taking full responsibility, maybe he's drafting his resignation letter, or worse, maybe that he was preparing to do something drastic something drastic meaning like something that the organizations like Befriender was created to prevent. You must be thinking far too highly of our Malaysian politicians in Malaysia. When a politician says that they will take full responsibility, what it means is that that statement itself, that they will take full responsibility, is the full extent of the responsibility that they are going to take. That's it. They said it. It's done. It is like Mel Gibson screaming freedom at the end of Braveheart. It's just an actor performing a line according to a script. Just like Mel Gibson didn't actually die for the sovereignty and freedom of Scotland just because he played the role of Sir William Wallace in Braveheart and Anthony Loke. Not only Anthony Loke, anyone else in DAP is not going to resign because they say they will take full responsibility for the disastrous Sabah campaign either Now, it might be because Anthony Loke, he sensed that his grandiose "I will take full responsibility" statement alone wasn't making the sort of impact that he was expecting Because of that, he would later follow up with a second grandiose statement. This time, he would declare that DAP will ensure accelerated reforms in the country within the next 6 months After this, what he said, after thorough reflection, we will compile all feedbacks received and work closely with the Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim to accelerate the reform agenda over the next 6 months. 6 months This is what Anthony said after he came out from a emergency Central Executive Committee meeting. This is the top committee in DAP Now, when I heard Anthony Loke say this, it really reminded me of naughty SPM students who never study, but who believe that they in the last week of the exam 1 week before the exam, they can cram 2 years of study into just maybe 6 days before the exam, and that's enough, and that will ensure that they will pass their exam with flying colors when a student declares that they are not going to disappoint you. I go I'm not going to disappoint you, teacher, because I'm going to do well in my exam because I'm going to give this last 6 days my full attention. 24 hours I'm going to study you are not going to admire their resolve Instead, you're just going to feel sad. You're just going to feel sad and you're going to lament these students, these naughty students, conceit and foolishness for promising something that even those who studied regularly for 2 years will be reluctant to promise simply because they think that they are better than who they are, conceited and because they're just too ignorant to understand the difficulty of the task involved in that same way. Listening to Anthony, we will complete reform in 6 months, is when I heard it, it was not faith, it was not conviction, it was not admiration that coursed through my heart and mind. Rather, it's like, Anyway, I'm pretty sure it's just not me that was not impressed by what they said. I'm pretty sure that everybody in the country it was not faith, it was not admiration, it was not conviction that entered our heart, entered our mind when we heard Anthony says he's going to give us DAP is going to ensure there's going to be a reform in 6 months. Like I think even DAP sense that the public wasn't buying its 6 month reform sprint. Like because right after it made that pledge, guess what? Now it's coming up with this third grandiose pledge. What's the third grandiose pledge? Now this time he's promising if the reform that he promised doesn't happen by middle of 2026, it's going to quit the government. It's going to leave the unity government. When at the rate that DAP is upping its promise, it's just already 3 grandiose promises in just a span of a few weeks, 1 or 2 weeks. At the rate that they are upping their promise, I'm predicting that by next week, maybe next month, by New Year perhaps, some big shot in DAP, maybe it'll be Anthony Loke again, is going to pledge that, you know what, if DAP doesn't quit the government by mid 2026, if it fails to manifest the reform it promises, he is going to renounce the world. He's going to renounce the world and join a monastery. After all, why not, right? Why not? When words are just cheap words, how difficult is it to promise anything? You can promise the sun, you can promise the moon, you can promise anything. After all, it's just words, cheap words. Say only lah. Anyway, DAP can say whatever it wants, but if it wants to know what the country is hearing, all it has to do is listen to the deafening silence in the aftermath of its grandiose declaration, just like its full responsibility and 6 months express reform, and now we will quit the government by the middle of 2026 pledges. The silence to tell DAP that actually nobody in the country actually believes that DAP will own up to anything it says. Why? Why is that the case? That's the case because every one of us can see that DAP's sudden flurry of declaration is just a reaction to the electoral fear. When your statements are triggered by the instinct to survive politically. After seeing a disastrous state election result in Sabah, we know it's not by conviction. And when we know it's not by conviction, of course people will assume that you're not going to follow through with anything that you say. In other words, if DAP's declaration is being made because he's panicking on account of losing the Sabah election, who in the world is going to believe that to counter its losses in the state election, it is going to make a move like leave the unity government that might very well cost it the national election? Yeah, right, panicking over the losses of state election, and now you say you're going to gamble away your position in the in the general election, national election. Yeah, right. Personally, you know what I think is going to happen? Knowing all these Malaysian politicians, this is what I think, this is what I predict is going to happen in the next 6 months. DAP will secure some form of token reform. I don't know what it is, but it's just going to be some token stuff, and it's going to use those token reform. It's going to frame it as a proof of its sincerity. After that, it's just going to appeal to the voters. It's going to come to the voters and going to tell us, especially the Chinese voters, that it is losing by the draft. It's going to go to them and they say, hey, keep supporting us, keep the faith in DAP. Just keep the faith. We will continue the reform agenda. See, we already did the token already. Keep the faith in us. We'll continue. We'll do even more. We'll complete the reform agenda. Now, this is what I predict. Because what else can you really expect from a party that stayed silent when 7 foreign footballers were granted citizenship overnight to play for Malaysian national team, when they had absolutely no connection with Malaysia whatsoever? Such a blatant case. What did DAP say about it? Not much basically silent. Now, when Ismail Sabri was walked away scot-free despite having 170 million ringgit, 170 million, not 1, not 2, 170 million ringgit, huge amount of money. What happened to the Ismail Sabri was linked to this 170 million ringgit. What happened to him because of it? Nothing. Nothing happened to him. He walked away scot-free. uh, after he was interviewed by MACC for a little bit, basically walked away scot-free, nothing. He just had to forfeit the 170 million. Nothing happened to him. And there's another case for another politician, Ahmad Ratlan. He also walked away scot-free after being accused of being involved in corruption worth 6.7 million, and he paid up 4.1 million ringgit in compound. Just pay compound for corruption, yeah. Paid compound for corruption. Not that one, also not the full amount, not the 6.7 million he was charged with, just 4.1 million. So he had like 5.1, 6.1, about 2.6 million left. Like, so basically, he got a profit of, now the 2.6 million is considered white money. It's already clear, because you already paid the 4.1 million in fine, so the remaining 2.6 million is his. It's like his profit. It's clean profit, right? Now, and what did DAP say about this? Again, nothing at all. Yeah. Now, these three incidences, by the way, is just the list of the things that DAP is failing. DAP is failing that is coming up from the top of my head. If I actually researched it, the last 2.5 years? Is it 2.5 years since the unity government was formed? If I actually researched it, I am actually very confident that I can probably find 10 times more when the subject of reform was brought up in the country, and DAP totally failed us all. Totally failed us. As a matter of fact, let me ask you this. What is the successes of DAP in generating reform in the last 2.5 years? This is the one that I cannot think of. If you ask of their failure, I can think of maybe, if you give me some time, I think I can come up with 10, 20, 30. But if you ask me to think about their successes, I think I need a long time to even just come up with one or two. Now, anyway, my point is, a party that can sleep soundly through all of these failings will not suddenly transform into a reformist powerhouse in just 6 months. If you hold your breath waiting for meaningful reform from DAP, all that's going to happen is that you're going to die from a lack of oxygen. You're not going to find your faith rewarded. You're just going to die for holding your breath. And this cynicism is not mine alone. I'm not the only one that is cynical, as the Sabah results is showing. Even DAP's own supporters share this cynicism. That is why DAP was abandoned, lock, stock, and barrel in Sabah. Now, anyway, if you're telling me enough, Nehru, enough with all this negativity, enough about whatever that has already happened in the past. What is done is done. Can you suggest something that DAP can do to turn things around? Well, guess what? I actually do have a suggestion. This is my suggestion. I'll say that, to prevent the people, especially the Chinese electorate, from continuously losing faith in DAP, this is what I think you should do. This is what I think you should do. Now, what I should do? You should get to the bottom of the Teoh Beng Hock case. Let me repeat what I think DAP should do. Item number 1, let's see whether you can do this. If you can do this, maybe we can believe that you can do something else. But let's see whether you can just do this. Can you just get to the bottom of the Teoh Beng Hock case? Why do I say that? Because guess what? Teoh Beng Hock actually was a member of DAP. He belongs with DAP. As a matter of fact, you can even say he died for DAP. His death was actually quite tragic, very tragic. He's a young guy, man. So he was so tragic until today. His family is still traumatized by his death. Now, if DAP were to use its power and position to get to the bottom of the Teoh Beng Hock case, no one in Malaysia, no race, no religion, no state, is going to object to it. This isn't like the Indira Gandhi case or the UEC recognition debate, which divides the nation. On the subject of Teoh Beng Hock, the entire country is actually united. We are on the same page. Everybody sees it as a wrong. Everybody wants to get to the bottom of what happened to Teoh Beng Hock. If DAP can't even push for a resolution on a clear case of injustice against one of their own, is their own guys, a member of DAP, who died for them, right? When the whole nation is standing behind them. And when DAP has the power, has the position to get to the bottom of the Teoh Beng Hock case, what can you expect it to do for the rest of us? One of its own, somebody who died for them also, if they are not going to be able to do anything but give excuses. What about us? We are not even a member of their party, right? If you are not even one of them, if one of them also they can fail so miserably, what can they do for the rest of us? Like, if DAP can sleep well at night, even after it abandoned one of its own who gave his life for them, like, we must be dumber than a loaf of bread to imagine that DAP is going to do anything to lift a finger for the rest of us. We must be dumb, right? The difference between a hero and an actor playing a hero is the difference between heaven and earth. Like, whether DAP is a hero or just a ham playing the part of a hero is something that we are definitely going to be able to see clearly from the way that it will handle the Teoh Beng Hock case. And with this, I rest my case. Let me repeat before I end. DAP, start with Teoh Beng Hock. Complete that. It's all of us. Complete that. It's one of you. All of us are behind you. If you can't do that, is it our fault that we think you are hopeless? Nah, that's it. I'm gonna rest my case now. Thank you for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Hope to see you again in the next episode. Have a good day. Bye bye.